Hello everyone and welcome to a tutorial video. This is a browser-based software called Notessimo 2. It is a beta, and what it at its very base is music production software. Um, Now I will say that this is music production software at its very most basic. But even so, I find that a lot of people will come on and they'll make a song, and there will be a lot of gross errors that are missed. So the point of this video is just to point out all the obvious stuff that you'll want to know, and after I get this out of the way, I'll probably take you through the process of actually making a song. That should be pretty fun, and I actually have no idea how long that's going to take. But anyway, let's get right into it. So, first off, you've got these four bars up here, which actually are exactly like any other file edit. So, just quickly, you got a new button. You can save to your browser's cookies. You can load from your browser's cookies after you've saved. One thing I want to note is there's a lot of people that will complain that their songs go missing. You have to make sure that you're at the right address. If you put www in there and then a dot, it'll allow you to save a whole different set of songs, but all your ones on notissimo.net without a www will be gone. They're not deleted, they're just you just have to switch over to notissimo.net instead of www. I still can't figure out why that is. It's probably just actually I have no idea. Anyway, open link. Since this isn't self-explanatory, what you do is you get the link to whatever song you'll have or you want to listen to, and you can paste it in here, and it'll automatically load it up for you. Share your song is how you get the link for your song, and here it is over here. Um, Once you finish your song, this is how you embed your song into the site, and it stays forever, and you can post it in the forums and stuff and receive critique. And the quit button doesn't really do anything. And this is the because I use this link here, the quit button doesn't do anything. There are separate browsers where it will work, but as far as I can tell, it's useless anyway because I have an X button. Anyway, on to the edit button. I'll go over the stuff a bit later. It requires demonstrations. Um, but yeah, it's just a lot of the edit button you'll use a lot because it has a lot of features that can really save time. Sample songs fairly useless. You can load these up. It's exactly like having the links and going to open link, except you don't have to get the links. They're just right here. And you have settings. Note is also right here. I'd prefer to click this. You can use either one. Sounds quality and graphics quality are both defaultly at high, and I usually compose at high. And whenever you open a link, it's automatically on high. So there's no real point in going to best and then hitting share because it'll still go to high when someone listens. And the difference between high and best is very marginal. The biggest difference will be in the drum kit, but it's not worth it. And then the graphics quality doesn't matter whatsoever. It doesn't. You can put it on worse, and your song will still sound just as good. It's all about the sound quality. Full screen doesn't work in this again because I'm using a browser version instead of the one on the actual site. And preferences isn't happening. Just hasn't happened yet because it is a beta. It's been a beta for 3 or 4 years now. I think 2009-ish. Actually, 2008. Forget it. Anyway, you have the title, Spiffy. Um, you can change the title of your song here, and that will show up when you share. And you can hit buy, and you can type in anything. Share button I've already explained. This is the timeline right here. If I move the time slider, you can see now it's at 88, um, which can be useful, I suppose. It's helpful more so to critics like me because I can say at this time this sounds good or this sounds bad for this reason. And of course, it's much more specific than that. Info button doesn't do anything yet. Again, it's still a beta. Now, this is one of the most important things to learn is this bar up here, right under the title, is your sheets, and you have 100 from 0 to 99, and I'll get into that later. Again, it's a thing that requires a lot of demonstration. Down here you have your play play and pause and stop. And they all do something different. So for instance, if I press play, it'll play the entire song. If I press stop now, it goes there. If I press play and then pause, it stops at that point. Um, and then this, instead of this play button, only plays the current sheet, which can be useful because if I if I add an extra sheet here and then go to 1 and then I press play and press stop, it'll go to the beginning of the sheet instead of the beginning of the song. Whereas if I press play, even though I'm already in sheet 1, and then press stop, it goes back. So that's that. And this area here is where you actually place the notes, and it's like the pattern editor of like a more professional software. And you have notes all the way up here, and I believe that's B, and down here is D is the lowest note. Now, these are your cursor options. This is regular. If you decide to place a note, you can edit the note without moving it or deleting it. This is the move and delete, of course. I've already said that, but you can change like the note settings on specific notes by clicking on it, but that is a tedious process. Now, the main thing that people miss will be this note settings thing. It's not so much the volume or the panning, but the note duration. What they'll do is they'll take an instrument and then they'll put like a ton of 16th notes while it's set to quarter note, and it overlaps all those notes and it sounds like mush. Horrible, horrible. So definitely experiment with this. You have volume from 0 to 300. Panning, it can go all the way left or all the way right or anywhere in between. Right, by default it's on 0, of course. You have your durations. The drop-down menu is a bunch of presets, which are somewhat useful. At this point, I've used the software for so long that I've got them all memorized, like 32 is for half, and then 256 is for longa. And then anything else that isn't on the duration presets, like 512, would be a custom note, and of course, that should be self-explanatory. Nothing too interesting there. Now, do note that if I hit cancel, this stays the same. If I change it to a 32nd or a half note and hit change, now it's become so yeah. You basically, if you make a bunch of changes and you don't like them, you can hit cancel and stuff like that. That's pretty self-explanatory. Tempos here. From 0 to 999. A good guideline if you're new, don't go below 120 and don't go above 180 if you're new. You have layers. That is another thing that requires demonstration. And then finally, you have all these samples to work with. There are 8 tabs. Electronics is kind of lonely, it just has 1. Never understood that, but all the other ones have a good selection of instruments, and miscellaneous is like sound effects. And it's good to experiment with like all of them. You definitely want to get familiar with most of the instruments because you don't want to be just using like the metal guitar for all your stuff. And of course, you got the drum kit and stuff. But for the most part, I won't get too far into that. I'll just use the grand piano for my demonstrations because it's a very nice, simple instrument. There you go. Every time you click on an instrument, it plays a C4. If you want to preview a note without placing it, you press space. That's what I'm doing right now. Also, another common problem, you can actually place notes right here. Some people will place them here. Kind of strange, I know, but I have to mention this stuff because that's the problem. So, for demonstrative purposes, I'll go ahead and place 4 of these notes on the 0 sheet. Now, currently they're on the 0 sheet. If I go back to my regular cursor here, and if I go to 1, there's nothing on them. That's how sheets work. Each new sheet is like a new canvas to work with, and you can use this area up here to adjust when the sheets happen in relation to each other. And this is where you choose what sheet you want. You can go straight up, or you can just type it in. And here's the plus and minus. When you press plus, it automatically puts in a 0, so each time you do have to input your number, but I always consider that a small flaw because, I mean, really. Anyway, and for demonstrative purposes, I will have a basic pattern set up. 0102. Now, I'm going to go into the edit. Now, while you're on 0, if you go down here to duplicate sheet, you can go and you can hit 1, or any sheet actually, and hit copy. And now, and this is just a glitch, I'll show you how to fix it in a sec, but this will have been copied to 1, and now it's fixed. See, all you have to do is switch sheets and then switch back. It won't fix itself on its own. You do have to switch back eventually, but you know, a small glitch. Not a game-breaking one. Anyway, and so now 0 and 1 are the exact same. Now, you may say that's kind of pointless, but I can make edits to 0 without changing this. And it's also good to back up. It's like a backup of your stuff. You can copy everything, then add something new, and if you decide you don't like it, then you can just use the new sheet, or whatever you want to do. It's all up to you. Now, while I'm here, you cannot place notes on the same. I can't even place like a C sharp or a C flat, which would be a B. That's what layers are for. You go down, there are 9 layers from 1 to 9, and you can place notes on top of each other. This is more useful if you're deciding to use a bunch of instruments instead of just, a piano, but for now I'm just going to use a piano. And again, it doesn't appear on sheet 1. And for demonstrative purposes, I will have a 3rd layer, and right now there's nothing on 2, so because it's lonely, I'll go ahead and show you the copy measures. The way copy measures work is it's exactly like duplicate sheet. It's just a little bit more precise. You can actually put in information like from sheet 1, and you don't have to be on the sheet currently to do this. What layer you want, how the length, and where you want to start from. 2, the same parameters. And I'm just going to make a very basic copy. You can hit copy all layers, or you can uncheck that if you want. That's very nice and helpful. Hit copy, does the same thing. And of course it doesn't glitch this time, that's nice. There are only 2 other things under edit that I have not gone over yet. Clear layer, it will clear all the notes on the current layer, and clear sheet will clear the entire sheet. Be very careful when going to clear layer that you don't accidentally hit clear sheet. That's happened many a time, and it's a huge time waster. Now, wait, I might as well demonstrate that. I'll go to sheet layer 3. And then you see it deletes only that one note. But if I hit clear sheet, it'll clear both layer 1 and 2. That's about it. Again, the interface is extremely easy, and once you get the hang of it, it should be a lot of fun. And that should end this tutorial video for now. Catch me again next time, and I'm going to start composing a song. Should be fun.